Hey guys, it's me again. Finally, I get to do a review of the tnt30 Hybrid Genesis Atomizer by Fallout Mods. So without any ado, I'm going to get right into the build tutorial and then I'll get into a full review. Alright, right here, my camera's at an angle, there we go. Right here are all the pieces that you get in the set. Alright, I have it broken down because I cleaned it out. I already have my wicks pre-done. Here's the top cap. You got dual stacked air holes. I have drilled mine out because I like a little bit more airflow. Pretty thick glass. I think it's 2 mil thick, 1.5 mil thick. Pretty sturdy. You got your base. It's got native threading, so it threads directly onto the TNT, threads directly onto the mutant. Then you have your deck with your center tube. It's got the O-rings, O-ring right here for sealing it down. I mean, these are some hefty threads. They're not going to come out. And then you got your center post, your positive post. Alright. And on the bottom you have the screw within a screw design, so you can adjust for battery rattle. So I'm going to get this put together. The glass goes on. Then this threads in. And you want to be careful. You don't want to get it too tight, otherwise you might crack your tank. And right there about does it. And then on the bottom, all your insulators on this, by the way, are peak insulators. Alright, you got a big insulator right there. This piece goes down in and it threads in. Now you see a little bit of water coming out because I did clean it thoroughly before doing this video. So now I'm just going to loosen this out. That way I don't have any issue. I want to make sure it's good and dry. I don't want any water getting down there on the battery. Alright. You have your 2 wick holes, your 2 negative posts, your positive post, and your fill hole. That's a pretty good size fill hole. I'd say it's about 2.5 mil, same as the wick holes. We're going to put this in. I'm going to go ahead and screw it directly on. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and adjust for battery rattle. That is important. That is your magnet. And there we go. Now, this one is actually really easy to build on. Pardon me while I have a vape. you got, and this is how I build all my Genesis. Stainless steel rope sleeved in eco wool. Alright, you can see the eco wool is hollow, but you don't want it covering your whole rope, your whole wick. Alright. And I got two because it is a dual coil, dual wick setup. And the way I do it, I guess you could call it a sleeper build, so to speak. But this is how I do just about every Genesis build. Just making sure my negative screws are out enough. Excuse me. I just trap one, wrap it around the post, and then I come around. Alright. So now, just going to tighten that down. Sorry. And now, that's not necessary. That's what I do to trap it. Make it easy for me to just wrap easy. Alright. Pull that out, and then you're just gonna slide your wick in the hole. Now the way I do it, I do a 2-3 wrap, and that's how I do it on all my Genesis. No matter what gauge Kanthal I'm using, I find it easiest to do a 2-3 wrap. You want a higher resistance, you use a thinner gauge Kanthal. You want a lower resistance, you use a thicker gauge. Alright, now here comes, you pull it all the way around. And then you tighten your post down. Alright. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Alright. Now, what you're going to do, I'm doing it backwards so it's confusing me. What you're going to do is you're going to pop your other wick in. And then lightly pull it around to start your first coil. Let me get back on camera. You're going to thread it through underneath that top one. Alright. See, my finger is guiding it. It's in the way, but there. Alright. And then you just wrap around. You do it again. Make sure your coils are evenly spaced. You don't want to pull too hard, alright, because you'll choke off your wicks. And then your final wrap, it just comes down and under that screw. Alright. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pinch it off, and I'm going to tighten down that screw. Alright. You want to make sure they're even, so I'm gonna take care of that right now before I glow it. I want them to be almost identical on both sides. Alright, you see how inside the tank the steel rope isn't touching the bottom? the way I do it is I just pinch above and work it down. I used to stick a little Allen key through the top, and you can do that, it works. But I just find this, it keeps from jacking up the coil, jacking up your steel rope inside there too much. That way you can use it more and more. Now I'm going to just shake off the excess coil, kanthal. Going to make sure that they are not touching the center post. You don't want the coils touching the center post, otherwise you're going to short out. And when this sucker shorts out, oh man, it burns. So now I'm just going to clip the Eco wool pretty much even with the top. And now it looks to be pretty even. Let me just do one more adjustment. And there we go. That is glowing quite nicely. Now, what you're going to want to do, let me zoom back out. With a lot of your coils, like your Kanger coils or your Aspire coils, you need to prime the wick. And since I use a high VG juice, it really requires the priming. And that's it. You start the action right there. Now, this is, and I measured it out, it's about a 7.1 mil capacity. So forgive me for being out of camera for a second. I'm just filling my syringe. And there we go. Alright. That's it. Inside the top cap, it is a slightly reduced chamber. It goes down to a 22 millimeter device, 22 millimeter top cap, down from 28 or 30. It's 30. But with the dual coil, dual wick, I'm using 26 gauge Kanthal, and I'm right at 0.23 ohms. I don't have to check it. I'm very consistent, anywhere from 0.23 to 0.25. Within 0.2 ohms or 0.02 is where I stay. Not 0.02 ohms of resistance. I have 0.02 variation. So 0.25, 0.23. I do not go below 0.2 ohms on this. It's just too hot. Let me clear out that. So what you do, as with all other Genesis, you just line your air holes up with a wick hole. Now, let me get this situated. Let's go ahead and take a vape off of it. Very fresh, very flavorful vape. Very flavorful. Here we go. I knew I was a little bit too close. It's pretty slick how it just sits right on there. The adjusting pin is just like the top cap of the Mutant, the screw within a screw. And as with a lot of other devices, you're going to do a lot of adjusting, because I have noticed that not every battery is the exact same height. So it is, I want to say 316 stainless steel. It is pretty solid. As far as Genesis go, I haven't found anything that beats it flavor and vapor wise. It's in the top of a very short list of high-end atomizers. You can find it online at vapeexplosion.com. That's VAPEXPLOSION.com. Alright, it is listed for $250. That does not include a drip tip, nor does it include a spare glass tank. The spare glass tank you can find on Vape Explosion for $12. I ordered one just because I'm a klutz, just in case I might need it. I probably will at one point in time. The experience with it, feeling the weight, it's hard to explain. Now this is the Mutant V1. I imagine it will be the same thread spec and thread directly on the Mutant V2. The difference between the Mutant V1 and the Mutant V2 is the Mutant V1 has a laser etching, and the Mutant V2 has a deep engraving of the Mutant symbol. And the deep engraving is up top, whereas on the V1 it's on the bottom. You have, now mine is patinaed, but you have your biohazard symbol. I couldn't think of it. You got your biohazard symbol on the bottom, and if you just have a Mutant, you get your biohazard symbol on the top cap. I don't use anything else on it but the tnt30. It is, in my opinion, the best setup I have ever had. And I've had some good setups. I had a vanilla and a Kraken. I've had iHybrid Pure. I have an iHybrid Beast. I have the Vape Life Dripper Hybrid. I'm not much of a dripper person, but in my opinion, it pales in comparison to the tnt30. If you want to get a hold of one, like I said, get on Vape Explosion, place your order. I haven't been on the site in a while. It might be on back. It might be on pre-order. The only reason why it took mine 4 months to get to me is because he had a run of bad parts, and they were not, the parts he kept getting in were not to spec. Wrong size glass, wrong thread spec, things of that nature. Now I have on top of it the Mortar by Emmett Drip Tip. It is Delrin insert. It's pretty wide bore, stainless steel. It doesn't get hot. The top cap of this sucker gets really hot, especially with the low resistance. But the drip tip does not get hot. that's the wonderful thing about stainless steel rope, is even though I'm running almost max VG, from my understanding, and what I am vaping is Lunar Harvest from the King of Clouds line. And it says on here, the Vapor's Knoll. Let's get that in focus. That is my favorite flavor right now. I just can't get enough of it. It comes in 34 ml bottles. I am vaping it at a 3 milligram. It also comes in a 6 milligram. I don't know if it comes in a 0 or not. But if you get a chance, get you some. Find you a local vendor and try out some. It's really good. It's a berries, rock candy, and blue cotton candy flavor, and it's right up my alley. It's sweet, it's light, it's smooth. So the switch is a cinched push. It's just, no matter where I hit it. Now it does seem a little clicky, but that's kind of how I like it. I mean, it's one of the things that you got to sacrifice for being able to set it down without having to worry about a lock ring. If you do end up getting one of these, I suggest you get a mod bag. I have a little mod bag that hangs from a C-clip on my belt loop, and I put this in there. I put my e-liquid in the secondary pouch on it, and it keeps it upright. It does just fine. With your lower VG juices, you can use a fill plug in this, and you can lay it down. I know that is blasphemous towards Genesis, but the way I build it, with this build, if you do like a 50-50 or a 60-40 VG-PG mix, you can lay it down, it won't leak. Since I am using a higher VG, I need to leave the fill plug out just so it allows free-flowing air to get in there, so I don't have to do a major tilt. Even though stainless steel rope, it wicks straight up, with your higher VG juice, it's a lot thicker and it's a lot slower. So when I vape it, I do a bit of a tilt. It still performs magnificently. Brian Nashik, Fallout Mods, you did a damn good job at creating this. No, I did not receive this free for review. I paid every penny for it. I paid for the mod, $301 after tax. I paid for the tank, $250, $251 after tax and shipping. And that's only because I got it before it went up. I got the first or second run of it. It was still listed lower price. But he was really good about it, about his customer service, keeping in contact with me. I was worried I was getting gypped out of that money because it took so long to get to me. Yes, it was a pre-order, but at the same time it said it would ship in 2 to 4 weeks, and it was 4 months. But he was a trooper. Every time I called him, he told me what was going on. He told me that he was waiting on these parts to come in, then he was waiting on the glass to come in. He had issues with it shorting out, and that was just the first run. Since then, he has fixed that issue. There should not be a delay, too long of a delay at least, in your pre-order, if it is a pre-order. I believe he does have some in stock on the website. But he showed very good customer service, and I do appreciate and applaud him for that. As far as ease of build, you saw me build it. it's as easy to me as building an iHybrid Beast. It doesn't take me any time. It's actually more of the prep time that bothers me. It's getting all the equipment out that I need to prepare and get it all set up. The build time, you saw, takes no time at all. And that's me bumbling around a little bit trying to do it on camera. If I'm not doing it on camera, I can knock it out. Knock a full build, that's prep and cleanup included in it. It's 5 to 10 minutes. Prep to build to clean up, 5 to 10 minutes, just depending on how much stuff I already have out. I think that's about it. This is my first real review. If you have any questions, please comment, and I will do my best to answer them. On another note, completely unrelated to this, it's gone. Yeah, never mind. That one is gone. I have my moments. Please forgive me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate every one of you who comment on my videos and like my videos. I don't do this to get stuff sent to me. I don't do this to get famous or have any kind of recognition. I do this because I want to help people. I do this because some people, when they get a new device, even though they've been working on one and they're very proficient in it, just a little change up can throw them off. That's why I do a build tutorial for every device. And that's why I do tutorials and why I'm going to get into reviews. I want to help people get the best vape for them. Yes, this is high-end. Yes, this is several $100s. But it is worth every penny. I had to save up for it, and even then, I had to wait until I came into some serious money. Because I could not justify buying it unless I had come into a large amount of money. But if you can justify it, I suggest you pick one up, because it is worth it. It is absolutely worth it. Thank you all for watching, and as always, remember to enjoy the cloud. I know I do. See you next time.